Hey everybody, welcome back to Pixar Astrology. I'm your host Pix, and in this video I'm going to be diving into this week's forecast. We have a few things happening, but this week is going to be way nicer than last week. We have Jupiter stationing retrograde in Taurus, which is interesting because we just had Venus station direct in Leo, so we have both the benefics basically stopped at the beginning of this week to change directions and squaring each other pretty closely. So this is a very hedonistic energy. I'll get into that in a little bit, but yeah, the benefics are squaring each other this week, and we have a Mercury Cazimi. So this is a week that's great for socializing, great for partying and networking. It's also a great week for learning and for planning. It gives you some sharp focus and can help you with studying or travel plans if you are working on those things. So overall, it's a dynamic week. But before we get started, I want to remind you all about my fellowship. This is a membership on my website where you can either choose to get weekly rising sign horoscopes emailed to your inbox to keep you updated on what your rising sign can expect for the week, or you can join the R&R tier, reports and remediations, where I look at your natal chart and I give you a horoscope for the month, transits, pretty much by day, and a list of remediations on how to make the best of what's coming up for you for the month. I also host the 9th House Discord server, which is a free Discord server for us to chat about astrology and tarot and mysticism and just make friends with cool people. And of course, I'm available for one-on-one consultations if you want a reading as well. As always, there are timestamps in the description if you want to hop straight to a particular day, or if you want to skip my intro. And I just want to thank you all so much for the kind comments I got on my last week's video. That was not expected and really nice. So thank you so much. I love you guys so much. I want to talk about last week's full moon, also the Pisces full moon. How about a Pisces full moon and a hurricane? How about that for astrologer good? I hope everybody stayed safe. I know a lot of people had to evacuate, but yeah, that Pisces full moon during a hurricane was too astrologer good, not to mention. Also this week, we had Mitch McConnell glitching for a second time, so that's very interesting. I'm gonna go ahead and blame that on the Venus-Mercury retrograde. It's interesting how much politician stuff we're seeing come out during the Venus retrograde. It's almost as if Venus rules people and relationships and what you think a politician should be doing. And then I have to also mention that Starfield comes out in a couple days for Venus stationing direct. This is a video game, Starfield, by Bethesda, excuse me. And I'm disappointed. Does anyone want to argue about it in the comments? Because what the fuck, dude? This game, Starfield, looks like Destiny 2. It's totally a Venus stationing type of vibe where there are diehards who like space and who like Elder Scrolls who are going to be into it, or Fallout, but I am an Elder Scrolls whore, as some would say. And Starfield is hideous. It's like just different shades of gray. It's really outdated for what we can be doing right now. So I just had to bitch about Starfield for a minute. But those are the three things that I feel like I noticed this week with the astrology that happened. Please comment below. Let me know what current events you're noticing with the astrology happening. If you're a Starfield stan, please let me know should I buy it? I don't think I'm going to get it. It's so ugly. And it's it looks like Destiny 2. And you will not convince me otherwise. Okay. Anyway, let's move on. Let's move on to the first half of the week, shall we? So the first half of the week, let's start on Monday, September 4th, because we have a couple things happening. Basically, Jupiter is stationing retrograde while Mercury retrograde is trining it in Virgo. So first I'm going to talk about what Mercury trine Jupiter can do for us. This gives us a boost in learning. Maybe you'll be able to absorb new information a lot easier during the first half of the week. It also brings in big picture thinking, so being able to see the big picture, the larger context of things. Also, it brings in more optimism in your daily conversations, feeling more positive when talking to people. It also brings in enhanced focus, so you're going to be able to concentrate more on what really matters. And it brings in some more intellectual curiosity. You might consider diving into new topics, like reading. Maybe you'll pick up a book that you put down and haven't picked back up. Expressiveness is more pronounced, so maybe you'll be more articulate with your thoughts and your ideas during the first half of the week. And it also brings in some open-mindedness. You're more willing to listen to different viewpoints without feeling the need to get on the defensive. So the personification of Mercury trine Jupiter is like, if it were a person, it would be a super smart, optimistic friend of yours who makes you feel like you can solve any problem, especially when you hang out together. So the first half of the week is really good for writing, whether it's a blog, an essay, or even a book. Your words are going to be flowing a lot more. Maybe a post on Instagram, Twitter, or X, as they call it now. The beginning of the week is also really good for public speaking. If you have a presentation, it is a great time to wow your audience. It's also a good, the first half of the week is good for travel and for travel planning. So if you are traveling, expect it to go smoothly, or if you want to map out a trip, this is a good time for that as well. It's also really great for networking, socializing, making connections will be a lot more natural and beneficial. The first half of the week is a good time for school or for taking tests because your brain is on high gear, making tests a lot less intimidating. It's also, the first half of the week is also really good for brainstorming, like creative ideas are likely to come out more freely. It's also a great time to learn any new skill because, again, your ability to pick up new info is on point during the first half of the week. And just like diving into the big questions, like I said, big picture, big context, you can dive into that without getting lost. So the first half of the week, this energy will be felt the most by most signs, but Taurus, Gemini, Leo, Virgo, Scorpio, Sag, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces. If any of you have planets or points in either any of those signs, you will be noticing this energy the strongest. So the other thing that happens on Monday is that Jupiter stations retrograde. So essentially, Mercury is trining Jupiter while it's stationing. And Jupiter stations retrograde about once a year, and it stays retrograde for about 4 months. It will be stationing direct at 5 degrees Taurus on December 30th. So Jupiter's retrograde period, since it's 4 months and it happens every year, the fact that it's retrograde isn't as big of a deal as it is when the planet stations. So when Jupiter stations and changes direction, that kind of amps up Jupiter's energy and makes Jupiter more intense. So this could bring up what sort of vibes? This is like bringing in a stronger desire for travel or, some sort of future trip planning is likely with Jupiter stationing. Since it's in Taurus, sensory experiences like eating, like food and art will be a lot more enjoyable. And again, it's in Taurus, so financial topics from investments to just spending and purchasing might take center stage while it stations at the beginning of the week. You might, again, feel a surge of optimism. That Jupiter energy is heightened. Bold moves are possible, but caution is still important because it's Jupiter squaring Venus. So we are, how you say, overly optimistic in some situations. And there is the retrograde aspect of maybe old things being brought from the past. So old adventures or old experiences might pop back into your thoughts somehow. But also the Jupiter energy of studying and education can also be a focus or is supported. But I would also expect maybe some sort of headlines about natural resources like oils or minerals to get more attention with Jupiter stationing in Taurus specifically. So the beginning of the week is good for financial review. It's a good time to look at your investments, look at your budget. Things will feel less scary because you're going to be a little bit more optimistic. The beginning of the week is also really good for foodie adventures. Try a fancy recipe or a new restaurant that you've been wanting to check out. The beginning of the week is also really good for home makeovers. Taurus loves comfort, So maybe sprucing up your living space can be a good thing to use the beginning of the week for, or the whole week, really. Jupiter is a big planet. It's a slow-moving planet, so it will be stationing most of the week. The beginning of the week is also good for art or artistic projects. Diving into a craft or a painting or something that you've been working on is supported, and with more optimism. And revisiting old, like I said, revisiting old journeys, looking at old pictures from the last time you went on a trip, or planning a sequel to said trip. And academic planning is also a really good thing this week. It's a solid week to map out any educational goals. So if you have planets or points in Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius, or if you are a Sagittarius rising or a Pisces rising, because Jupiter is your ruling planet, you will be noticing this the most. If you're a Pisces or Sagittarius rising, you might be feeling extra burnt out, extra tired this week or at the beginning of this week because your ruling planet, your mascot, is taking a little bit of a nap, stopping to move another direction. So you might be feeling like you're stopping to move another direction on some level. All right, so on Wednesday, September 6th is when we have our Mercury Cazimi. So this is when Mercury conjoins the Sun. This is Mercury's inferior conjunction because it's retrograde, but this is at 13 degrees Virgo. So what kind of vibes? We love Cazimis. We love Cazimis in this house. We can expect some mental clarity. Your thoughts are super clear on Wednesday, as if someone cleaned your mental windows. There is a communication boost. You can be, people are on fire when they're writing, talking, presenting. Again, big ideas, coming up with really cool concepts, brainstorming on accident, aha moments. You can make a lot quicker of decisions, making decisions like a pro. There's no second guessing when there is a Cazimi happening. Also, laser focus. You're zeroed in on what you want to say or what you want to do with this Cazimi. And again, insights and realizations just seem to pop up with Cazimis. Cazimis are essentially when Mercury gets to sit in the throne of the king being the sun. And when Mercury gets to sit in the throne of the king, it gets secret insights or knowledge. So we're going to be sitting in the throne of the king on Wednesday. And if Mercury Cazimi in Virgo were a person, this would be a super organized librarian who knows exactly where every book is and has the perfect recommendations for everybody. So the middle of the week is good for writing, negotiating, studying, planning, networking, running quick errands. You know, if you need to make decisions on the go, you're all set. Tech tasks, working on technology, updating software, setting up gadgets. And again, travel planning. So with your mind so clear, you know, it's a great time to map out your next adventure. Hashing out deals and agreements. Again, your focus is super sharp, so it's a great time to hit any sort of books that you need to hit. So this Cazimi is going to be felt most by people with planets or points in Gemini, especially Gemini risings, Virgo, especially Virgo risings, and Sag and Pisces. Y'all will be feeling this the strongest or most blatantly, I should say, in your life. It's not as internal for y'all. Let's go ahead to Friday, September 8th. This is our last transit of the week, which is very nice and convenient for all of us. The Sun in Virgo trines Jupiter at 15 degrees Taurus. This is the same vibe, a little bit louder and less busy than the beginning of the week because Mercury trine Jupiter. Now the Sun's trining Jupiter. It's like the Cazimi trine Jupiter, essentially, which makes this Cazimi extra powerful, extra potent. So it's very optimistic energy for the weekend due to this trine. You can feel very positive, or other people are going to be very positive. Just general good vibes. You might be in a good mood. Other people will be able to tell. Again, very social. You might be feeling more outgoing and people are more drawn to you this weekend. Opportunities may knock this weekend. Things might just go your way. Like you're a magnet for good luck. And again, all of this brings a confidence boost also, feeling more like yourself. And this brings a generosity spike. If you're happy, if everybody's happy and healthy, then why not be generous? Be in the mood to give, whether it's time, money, or advice. If this transit was a person, it'd be a very savvy gardener who not only grows organic veggies, but also knows the best investment strategies for the sustainable farm. So this week and weekend are pretty good for like social events, parties, gatherings. People will love the vibe of socializing. It's also a good week or weekend for big purchases. If you've been considering splurging on something, maybe this weekend's a good time for it. It's also a great end of the week energy for job interviews or job changes. Having confidence really helps with that sort of thing. Adventure times are highlighted this weekend. Whether it's a day trip or something more, the odds are in your favor with this energy. Learning is also boosted. Picking up a new skill, diving into a new book. Your focus is sharp. And networking, again, this is very social. So making new connections, people are likely to be more receptive at the end of or this whole week, really. People are likely to be receptive. And again, this is felt by most signs, but strongest for those who have planets or points in Taurus, Gemini, Leo, Virgo, Scorpio, Sag, Capricorn, Aquarius, or Pisces. So that's what we have this week. Again, it's pretty chill. Like, this is a way funner week than what we've been expecting. So we should soak this in and enjoy it. So that's what we have. Thank you so much for being here. Comment below and let me know what you have planned this week. What are you going to do for the Mercury Cazimi? What are you doing for all this good astrology? Are you going to be partying? Are you going to be traveling? Are you starting a new book that you want to tell me about? I need book recommendations. Please recommend a book. I tried reading A Court of Thorn and Roses or whatever the fuck that book is, and it was so bad. So don't recommend anything like that, okay? I could only read like the first 6 chapters. All right, that's what we have. If you enjoyed this video and you want to do more astrology with me, of course, you can join the fellowship for personalized horoscopes or mentorship. You can also join the free 9th house Discord server to chat astrology and tarot and mystical stuff with really friendly people. And again, I offer one-on-one consultations if you want to get a reading from me. You just got to schedule from my website. So again, thank you all so much for being here, and I will see you next week. And I just have to show you my assistant. Look at her. My assistant. She's such a little baby. I love her. This is Eggy. This is little Eggy's. She's a feral kitty that we rescued. And now she gets to live her feral life on this feral couch with her feral mother.